Many years ago, in the heart of furniture, where the bulls of tricycles and the hymns of roadside preachers compete for space in the air, a boy named Chuku Ibuka was born under the shadow of St. Michael's Cathedral, the sixth child of a catechist father and a petty trader mother. Ebuka came into the world during a candlelit night of prayer and rain. They said his cry echoed like thunder and calmed just as the church bell rang. Everyone believed he was touched by God. Ebuka was a quiet child with big eyes and an unusual calm. He never cried too long, never fought other children, and had a strange way of staring into space, murmuring things only he understood. At 5, he was already quoting psalms. By 10, he was fasting without being asked. His father, Panwokoye, began calling him Nwa Chineke, meaning child of God. The family was poor, 8 people in a 2-room flat in Upper Iweka, sharing toilets with 3 other tenants. Their mother, Mama Ifoma, sold okpa and pure water on the street, while their father led evening prayers for neighbors. Life was tough, but somehow, Chukwuebuka remained untouched by its harshness. At 17, he had his first vision. He claimed to see angels in white garments descending at the Nkpo motor park. That same week, a keke driver had a fatal accident and survived with just a scratch after Ebuka prayed for him. Word spread. He became Brother Ebuka the Anointed. By 20, he was preaching at open crusades, and by 23, he opened his own ministry, the Holy Mountain of Fire and Grace International, headquartered at Awada, Obosi. For a few years, he was genuine. He preached love, sacrifice, righteousness. He healed the sick, cast out demons, and even raised a boy who was presumed dead for 2 hours. He lived modestly, still driving a dusty Corolla, wearing simple white kaftans. People adored him. Women dropped their earrings at the altar. Men brought him land documents to bless. But slowly, fame became poison. It was a Friday afternoon in Abuja. Ebuka had been invited to the exclusive National Conference for Apostolic Giants, held at a luxury hotel in Maitama. The hall was filled with sleek suits, glowing white kaftans, and heavy perfumes that hung like smoke in the air. There were whispers of mantles, portals, and divine wealth. It was more of a spiritual exhibition than a conference. That was where he saw him, Prophet Malachi Uzochukwu, the man known as the Oracle of the Seven Thrones, dressed in a dark purple agbada embroidered with flames. His presence was commanding. Men bowed before him. Women wept when he walked past. Ebuka had admired him from afar for years. After his section, Ebuka managed to catch him just outside the hallway. Heart pounding, he greeted him respectfully. Man of God, please, I, I need to speak with you. I am drowning, Ebuka said. Malachi studied him, then simply said, Come to my suit. Later that evening, Ebuka sat across from him in a golden lit room, surrounded by silence and incense smoke. He poured out his heart. He spoke of how his church had plateaued, how miracles no longer flowed, how his offerings had dropped, how members were flocking to other flamboyant churches in Asaba and Enugu. He confessed how he had fasted for 90 days and still God remained silent. Then, with tears in his eyes, he said the unthinkable. Man of God, show me the way. I am tired. I am willing to do whatever it takes. I can't remain small. Prophet Malachi was silent for a long moment. Then he leaned forward and said slowly, The throne of power is not a place for boys. God trains his generals in caves, not cathedrals. If you rush glory, you will attract death. He told Ebuka to be patient, to return to the secret place, that Elijah waited, that David hid, that Jesus endured the wilderness. But Ebuka was desperate. He begged, he pleaded, he dropped to his knees. Daddy, I am empty. God has left me. Give me something, even if it is small. Malachi studied him once more, then walked to a drawer, pulled out a black velvet pouch, and tossed it to the table. Inside was a cowrie shell, a small sapphire ring, and a piece of folded red paper. This is the beginning. If you truly want power, go to the Idemili shrine at Nobi. Ask for the woman of the deep. Tell her I sent you. But remember, once you enter, you cannot turn back. There is no halfway with spirits. Ebuka stared at the pouch. His hands trembled. Malachi added one final warning. You will become a god before men. But if your conscience survives, it will become your curse. And that was the day Chuku Ibuka Onwokoye sold his soul, not with blood, but with desperation. And so, Prophet Malachi introduced him to the Idemili confraternity, a secret cult of false prophets who drew spiritual strength from marine spirits in Oguta Lake and Ogbonike caves. They offered him access to crowds, wealth, and miracles at a price. Ebuka resisted at first, but when the donations dwindled, his marriage hit a rough patch, and members began shifting to trendier churches in Asaba and Enugu. He caved. He took the oath. He journeyed to a hidden shrine near Nnobi, where he bathed in the blood of a white ram and swallowed the egg of a python, pleading loyalty to the queen mother of the waters. From that day, Ebuka was no longer the man he used to be. Holy Mountain exploded. Clutches were flung mid-air, women screaming in tongues. He began spitting fire. He predicted phone numbers, unlocked PIN codes, and made oil flow from Bibles. Cars flooded the church. Nollywood stars came. Politicians bowed. But beneath the altar was a serpent coiled in deceit. Ebuka began sleeping with married women, convincing them their wombs were locked by spiritual husbands. He would take them for midnight deliverance. Guests in the choir began disappearing quietly, some returning broken, others pregnant and silent with hush money. Young men were initiated unknowingly with anointing oil laced with blood, spiritual baits that opened portals. Anyone who questioned him either fell sick or lost a loved one. Some never came back. He married a beautiful woman from Nnewi named Chioma, who believed in him blindly. They had one son, Zikora, but Ebuka rarely came home. He told her his glory demanded consecration. In truth, he had built a secret apartment in Oka, where he kept two other spiritual wives, both under the age of 25. To the world, Prophet Ebuka Onwokoye was a man of unmatched holiness. He never missed his white robe. He fed orphans on camera. He wept on stage when talking about God's mercy. Politicians knelt before him for prophetic endorsement. Even bishops whispered that he might be the Elijah of our time. But the marine spirits were greedy. They demanded blood monthly. He began staging miracles, hiring authors, paying off journalists. Once, he buried a young boy's placenta in the church compound to keep his powers flowing. He didn't care. As long as the crowd kept roaring, he kept lying. Then, one Sunday morning, a woman named Amarachi Ume walked into his church. She was a former marine initiate, now a converted prayer warrior with the Divine Fire Liberation Ministry. She had seen his face in a dream, covered in blood, dancing with the serpents. As soon as she stepped into the sanctuary, everything changed. The lights flickered, the drums went offbeat, Ebuka stammered during his sermon. In that moment, Amarachi raised her voice and began to pray. Warrior of peace, destroyer of dark spirits, come and help me to fight this battle. She didn't ask for permission. She marched to the altar and began to pray. The crowd gasped. Ebuka tried to silence her, but he vomited blood. The ground cracked beneath the pulpit. A hidden chamber under the stage burst open, exposing jars of blood, python skins, and names of church members written in black chalk. People ran. Some fainted. Chioma, his wife, collapsed. His son screamed. Amarachi didn't stop. She called down fire, and that day, the reign of Prophet Ebuka Omokoye ended in disgrace. He was arrested. Multiple women came forward. DNA tests revealed he had fathered over 9 children across Anambra and Delta states. His videos leaked. His church was shut down. But the worst punishment wasn't from man. It was from the Queen Mother herself. He lost his mind in prison, speaking only in chants no one could interpret. His eyes turned white. He would scream, "I saw heaven, they closed the gate." His wife moved to Lagos with their son. Amarachi reopened the church and rebuilt it brick by brick into a true house of worship. And thus, in the city of Onitsha, where power and prayer collided daily, the serpent in white robe was finally exposed. We've come to the end of today's story, and as always, thank you so much for staying with us, and thank you most importantly for staying to the end. Please, if you enjoy our story, please do it to like, comment, and share to your loved ones. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel by now, please do so to subscribe. By so doing, you are encouraging us in creating more stories. And till we see you again, remember this. Ciao.